in the court now where time stood still. Generations pass on the hill, prosecutors come and go, defense attorneys putting on a show. Old district attorney thought she was tight, came in to visit her tonight. They said justice was blinded by her sins. As the trial spun, no one wins. Endless trial like a river flows. Truth and lies, nobody knows. Corruption's pretty tight as it bites. In this endless trial, we pay the price.
Hey folks, welcome. Yeah, I played around a bit with the Suno thingy, and yeah, it is the never-ending trial. We are up to day 86. Ooh. And what's on the menu today? It is car rental, guys. Yeah, the prosecution is still trying to make it happen with the Infinity, even though it is clear that the car at the Texaco was a Pontiac. The car at the crime scene was not a Pontiac and not an Infinity. I'm not even sure it was a light-colored car. But now they're going in hard on the cars that Mr. Williams rented, which was apparently a Pontiac and a sports car. Who the prosecution alleges was involved in the crimes, but I did nothing of it. But then again, I haven't seen much of a case for 86 trial days. We are over 6 months in, and we are probably at least 4 months away from the end of the prosecution's case. Welcome to the show, folks. And I have to say thank you for sticking around, everybody. I really do. I'm trying meanwhile to get Rumble on, but for some odd reason it doesn't. Dun dun dun. Destinations. Rumble. That is the correct one. That is also the correct one. Let's see here. Edit. Save. Nope. For some odd reason, StreamYard doesn't talk with Rumble today. My apologies over at Rumble. And I don't have the patience to do anything. Okay. Well, this guy is rental car guy number one. And probably wondering, what am I doing here? I was a clerk 9 years ago. What am I doing here? But the prosecution chooses to take a day out of this guy's life when he could have worked. So let's at least listen to it.
Okay, first name Richard, R-I-C-H-A-R-D, and last name Alovor, A-L-O-V-O-R.
Good afternoon, Mr. Alovor. If you would be as kind as to slide up to this microphone and use your outside voice, even though it's a microphone, everybody in the courtroom.
This is the final part
All right.
of day 85. Then we will go into day 86.
Mr. Alovor, where are you from?
Okay, I was born in Ghana.
Okay. Are you a United States citizen?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Megatonic Mac 2.
When did you come to America?
Thank you. I'm
I
doing
came
my
here in 1995.
And did you come to the Metro Atlanta area?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. All right. What's your educational background?
I have a bachelor degree.
Okay. In what area do you have your bachelor degree?
French and Spanish.
Okay. And where did you earn that degree?
From the University of Ghana.
Okay. Are you employed?
Yes, please.
What do you do?
I work for Lincoln Financial.
Okay.
As a client service.
And
As a client service representative. Yeah.
And how long have you worked as a client services representative for Lincoln Financial?
About 3 years.
Okay. And what did you do before you start? What, if anything, did you do before you started your job with Lincoln
anything.
Financial?
Go screw yourself.
I used to work for Hertz.
Okay. And what was your official title when you worked at Hertz?
I was a rental agent.
Okay.
He
Is
was
this your
clerk.
first time ever testifying in court?
Rental car clerk.
Yes.
Is it fair to say you're a little bit nervous?
It's okay.
Okay. And how long did you work at Hertz rental car?
So I worked at Hertz for 20 years.
Okay. And what location did you work at for Hertz rental car?
I worked at the Atlanta Hartsfield Airport.
Okay. And when did you stop working at the Atlanta Hartsfield Airport location for Hertz rental car?
I stopped on the onset of COVID. That was in May 2020.
Okay. Why did you stop?
Because we were laid off.
Okay. Right. And did you stop working for Hertz altogether or just at that location?
Altogether.
Okay. And did you work at that location, that being the Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport location, the entire 20 years that you were with Hertz?
Yes, please.
Okay. What would be your normal hours or days when you would work for Hertz?
All right. I used to work 3 to 11, and for a short time, 9 to 5.
And can you describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what some of your duties and responsibilities were? Well, let me ask you this question. What was your official job designation at Hertz?
Okay, I was a rental agent.
Okay.
Yes.
And as a rental agent for Hertz at the Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport location, what duties and responsibilities did you have as a rental agent?
So I used to rent cars to customers.
Okay. Okay. And is there a certain area or location within the Hertz airport location that you would perform your duties and responsibilities?
Yes, please. I was working at the Gold Booth.
Okay. And when you say Gold Booth, what is the Gold Booth area of Hertz rental car?
It was located on the 3rd floor in the garage.
Okay. And what happens at the Gold Booth location or area of the Hartsfield Jackson Airport location of Hertz rental car?
So our duty is to take care of the gold customers.
I'm sorry, I couldn't really hear that.
Our duty is to take care.
Yeah, just a reminder. This is the final of day 85, the final witness. Rental car clerk, who is on the stand for 2 hours minus breaks. Day 86 is the manager of this clerk on the stand for 3 hours. I've been covering trials for quite a while now, and on occasions there are rental car guys testifying. 'It's a 10-minute testimony What are the papers? These are the papers. Did you retrieve them? Yes. On whose request? Did you do it on request? Yes, I did. And then they have a cop testifying about the rest. No, they have cops testifying already, and now they are taking in the store clerk and his manager talking about renting 2 cars to Jeffrey Williams, when one guy would be enough for 10 minutes. This, again, I'm astounded because Judge Glanville clearly says from time to time, don't waste the jury's time, but he only says it to the defense. And still, and remember, this is the trimmed down version of what the prosecution really wanted to present. They had over 700 witnesses. They're down to 209. This is witness number 75 to 80. I don't care. They are not even halfway through. But these 2 witnesses, the store clerk of Hertz and the manager of Hertz, none of them work there anymore, by the way, for a combined 5 hours of testimony about Jeffrey Williams renting 2 cars.
Of the gold customers, we rent to customers.
You said take care. I'm sorry, my apologies.
Yeah, we rent car to
Understood.
gold customers.
Okay. And what is a gold customer?
All right. So it's at the time I was working there, they had this program of let's say they created let's say the gold service mainly for business customers, so they don't have to be in line at the main counter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like an expedited service.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you say expedited, what made the process more expedited for persons who were gold customers or gold members, as you described? I'm going on. About how many rental contracts would you process in your capacity as a rental agent in the gold booth of Hertz Rental Car?
Is it per day or?
Yes, per day.
Per day. So I never counted, but you know, Hertz at the airport is linked to the busiest airport in the world.
Okay.
It could be, for me, maybe 200, 300 a day.
But it would depend. Is it fair to say it would depend on the day and the flow of business?
Yes, please.
Okay. In your capacity as a rental agent in the gold booth area, would you have to interact with customers that would come in to Hertz for cars?
Well, yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say sometimes, let's start with the times where you wouldn't have to interact with them. Why wouldn't you have to interact with persons that, customers that came into the gold booth area of the Hertz rental car?
Okay, so I will not see them or they will not come inside if everything is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, they just look on the board and go to their car.
Okay. Now, when you say everything is fine, what do you mean by that?
What I mean is reservation is booked gold service.
Okay.
And then they don't have any issue. Car is also assigned. A store is assigned, and then they go to the car.
Okay. Now let's turn to the times where something did go wrong, and you would have to interact with the customer in the gold booth area. What kind of services would you render in that kind of situation?
So we just identify the problem and then we solve it.
Excuse me. Okay. When you would interact with the customer in that scenario of where something has gone wrong, to use your words, would they come to the gold booth where you were located?
Yeah, well, if they are gold customers, yeah.
Okay.
They come there.
Okay. And in that capacity as working as a rental agent in the gold booth area, excuse me, would you only interact with gold booth customers at that time, or would you interact with regular customers?
Sometimes those who don't know the layout of the location, the regular customers come there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Earlier you said a board in the gold booth area when I was asking about the process a little bit. What board are you referencing?
Okay, there's a board adjacent to the gold booth that the customers' names go on with their lot numbers. Okay. So they know where the car is.
Okay. And when you say lot numbers, are you referencing to like a parking space?
Yes, please.
Okay. And can you describe generally what the booking process would be for a gold booth member?
So for the gold club members, they have a profile already. So they just go make reservation, book the gold service, and that's it.
Okay. You say profile. Where would this profile be prepared or created for that gold club member?
It's prepared by the individual.
Okay. Rent cars from you. Yes.
I guess that was a poor question.
Do you have the receipt? Yes.
Where would they do it? Would they prepare this profile in person or on the web?
Did he have to sign for it personally, or did he do it on a website? Insert answer. Do you have the receipts? Here they are. Are they signed? Here's the signature. When did he return the cars? On this date, is there a signature for it? Yes or no? Why? Insert explanation. 10 minutes tops. The clerk and the manager for 5 hours.
Where would they do it?
I believe it's done on the web.
Okay. And when this profile is created on the web, is it solely up to them to input any such data that pertains to that particular individual?
Exactly.
Okay. And what other data what other data do you know that goes into a profile for a Gold Club member?
If I can recall, I don't work there anymore. If I can recall, you have your name,
okay,
your driver's license, credit card, and then maybe your home address and an email.
Excuse me. Now, I want to go back to what you were describing as to when you said the lots that would be assigned to a car. Do you remember stating that?
Yes, please.
How would a particular vehicle be assigned for a Gold Club member at Hertz Rental Car?
You mean in a specific lot?
Generally, how would a car be if someone were to book a rental car? How would a car be assigned to them? Would you use anything from the profile to make a determination as to what car to give to them?
Yeah, so if I can recall, normally they have the type of car that they want to drive,
okay,
but then they can change it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you say change it, are you referencing such as like an upgrade or anything of that nature?
Yeah, they can do an upgrade, maybe. Yeah, do an upgrade, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a Gold Club member rental, is it possible for someone, in your experience and knowledge, to just walk up and take any car they want?
Okay, are you referring to the Gold member or
Yes.
anybody else?
No, so let's just say as a Gold member, would I presume it's me? Would I be able to just walk up and take any car in the fleet of those in the Gold Club area?
So this is what happened when I was there. You could, depending upon the type of car you booked,
yes, sir,
you could go to the Gold lot and then make a change, but that change will be effected at the exit gate.
Okay, so there would have to be is it fair to say that you're saying that there is a process to make a change to a vehicle?
Yeah, you can, because you could book a compact car and then you come there and then it's not big enough for you, you can change to a full size.
Okay. And are all such changes documented when that occurs at the Gold Club area of Hertz?
No, if they don't come back inside, they go to the gate.
Okay, it'll be at the gate.
Yes, sir.
So at the gate, are you speaking of an exit gate?
Yes, please.
And at the exit gate, since you've mentioned it, is there any process for determining which vehicles are leaving or who's in that car?
Of course.
Okay. Do you know anything about that process?
I didn't work in that area, so I wouldn't be able to speak to that.
Is it fair to say that the process of verifying the vehicles that are leaving is sort of a security check?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How is this even remotely? I mean, this is such a faster clock. It's established. I think even the defense have offered to proffer this as in, yes, Jeffrey Williams rented 2 cars. But no, the prosecution really want to talk about rental cars from the clerk and his manager for 5 hours.
In your experience at Hertz being a rental agent, could a individual rent a vehicle with someone else's driver's license?
That's a good question.
I can bet good money that if they can make a sale, they will make a sale. If a woman comes in, oh, it's my husband's driver's license, they would rent it out. And there are so many examples of people just walking in off the street, handing over bills. I want to rent a car, and then the car disappears. I mean, usually rental car clerks minimum wage, maybe some bonuses. They don't get paid enough to worry about crap. But I might be wrong. I'm just speaking out of experience of renting a few cars in my lifetime, that even here in the bureaucratic state of Sweden, at times I more or less have to force the clerk to take a copy of my driver's license. I want my insurance to kick in if anything happens. Oh, that's not necessary. Take the damn thing. Yeah, but I might be wrong.
If you don't know, that's okay.
Yeah, I have no experience in it.
Okay, no problem. You don't have, okay, no problem. All right.
Hey, folks, and welcome to the show. The crap show. The first.
Are you familiar with an? I'm sorry.
And you can't
Okay.
adjust
All right.
the ref.
Are you familiar with an Ira Singleton?
Yes, please.
Okay. How do you know Ira Singleton?
Ira was my manager, general manager, before I left.
Okay. And was he your manager for the entire 20 years that you were at Hertz?
No.
Okay. But did he, in fact, oversee the day-to-day operations that you performed at Hertz?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, who's
All right.
next?
Are you familiar with?
Testify.
Let me ask you this question, a better question. What is a rental agreement?
What?
Okay, a rental agreement, in my estimation, is a rental, like a contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are customers given a copy of rental contracts for each vehicle they should lease, or for each vehicle they should rent?
Yes, please.
Okay. And are rental contracts something that is normally kept by Hertz in the normal course of business?
You mean, well, it will be in their database. Let me put it that way.
Got it. Okay. And let me ask you another question as it relates to rental contracts. Are employees at Hertz Rental assigned employee identification numbers?
Yes, please.
And our employee identifications number, our employee identification numbers typically included on rental contracts?
Yes, please.
Okay. And at what point during the rental process would a gold member receive a rental contract, if at all?
Well, if it's not printed inside, they get it at the exit gate.
Okay. All right. Is it provided at the same time that identification is verified with the vehicle in the contract?
Yes, please.
At the exit gate?
Yes, please.
Okay. And at the exit gate, does that information on the rental contract and the driver's license all have to match with the person driving the vehicle?
Well, that was a norm.
Okay, that was the norm. Okay. All right. All right. I am now showing you what has been pre-marked as state. Well, excuse me. I am now showing defense counsel what's been pre-marked as states exhibits.
I need to
332
fetch
Yankee,
more coffee.
334 Yankee,
30 seconds.
336 Yankee, and 337, Your Honor. 337 Yankee, Your Honor. And just a brief one, Your Honor. Approaching the defense with the aforementioned exhibits, which have already been provided in the discovery process, Your Honor, I may add for the record.
We are so lucky this guy is a fast talker, because if it was the previous witness, we would be here longer. I'm only playing it in 1.25. Oh, come on. They're looking at... Oh.
No, wait till they're done.
Sure thing, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Want to approach? Come on.
Thank you.
And we have a sidebar. And you all know what that means. It is sidebar counter 197. Oh. hello Ghostery, hello Patty, Bahira, Megatronic, Parabellum, Siobhan, Jeannie, Jasmine, Christine was here earlier. As per usual, hit the thumbs up because I deserve it and I think I'm doing a great job at covering this trial. And make yourself noticed in the chat. And subscribe if you haven't yet. Okay.
I'll let you can see it first. I am now approaching the states 332 Yankee, 334 Yankee, 336 Yankee, 337 Yankee. What I ask is if you would just take a moment to just look over them
know, Ben. I know,
in
Ben.
brief, and then once you've had a chance to do so, look back over at me and I'll ask you a few questions.
Thank you, Jasmine. And now, after roughly half an hour of testimony, now they are getting into the paperwork. That first was just foundational, which could have been seconds in, did you used to work there? Yes. Yeah, it average more than 2 sidebars per day, but we also can count in, even if it's day 86, you can remove at least 25 days because of half days, hearing days.
I see that you've looked back over it. Have you had a
days.
full opportunity to review the documents placed before you?
Yes, please.
Okay. Mr. Alivor, what type of documents have I handed to you as states exhibits 332 Yankee, 334 Yankee, 336 Yankee, and 337 Yankee?
All right, so I'm looking at Head's rental record.
Okay. And have you had a chance prior to coming to court today to review those exhibits that you have identified as Hertz rental records?
Yes.
And are those rental records identified as the exhibits previously mentioned, records that are kept in the ordinary course of business?
YouTube allows me to gift 10 memberships each month. And I decided I would give 5 right now. And it went to Benjamin Gray, Reformed Convict, Samantha Yo, Michael Burke, and Daily Quick Bites. And welcome to the Viking crew. You now have access or re-access to all my members-only content. For you who weren't randomly selected for this, it's $3 a month, and you get access to everything you actually never knew you needed. And it helps the channel with that kind of support. So thank you so much if you choose to.
Hertz to document rentals?
Well, as I said, these are rental records for Heads. I don't want to keep hard copies, but I know in their database, all this information should be there.
Okay, all right. And are the documents that I put before you that you say you've had the opportunity to review prior to coming to court today in the same or substantially same condition as they were when you last reviewed them?
I think so.
Okay. And are those documents that are in front of you prepared at or near the time that the rental is made or sometime close to that?
I'm sorry.
Let me restate it. If you can't hear me or something's unclear, let me know. Are those documents that are in front of you prepared at or near the time that a rental transaction is made at the Hertz rental car at Atlanta airport?
As a matter of fact, I don't understand the question.
Okay, I'll ask it a better way. It's okay.
Yeah.
Do those records usually get prepared around the time that a rental is made through Hertz?
Okay, so excuse me, are you saying that these records are generated at the time of rental?
Yes. Yes.
Well, normally that should be the case.
Okay. All right. And I want to ask you one last question. When you review those documents, well, I've already asked that, Your Honor. At this time, the state now moves to admit states exhibits 332 Yankee, 334 Yankee, 336 Yankee, and 337 Yankee into evidence.
Any further objection states 332 Yankee, 334 Yankee, 336 Yankee, and 337 Yankee. The foundation's been laid. Anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor, these are, as the foundation, for her foundation, I won't speak into, but we asked them to be admitted, published pursuant to your.
Let me see them again.
Sure thing. I do have
We already have that notice of program. I've considered your objections. I'm going to overrule them. I'll give you continuing objection. I'm going to admit states 332 Yankee, 334 Yankee, 336.
Now, continued objection. I might not have explained that. It means that they don't have to get up and say it out loud. They are preserving it for the record for the appeal. Now, I'm not particularly fond of that, but I understand that it saves time.
Yankee and 337 Yankee over objection, and they may be published as you see fit. I'll give you continuing objection.
I'm going to focus your attention here on states exhibits 332 Yankee, and then we're going to transition to 334 Yankee, but we're going to start with that. Starting with states 332 Yankee, which is before you. Well, let me ask you a question before I get to that exhibit. Have you, well, earlier we were talking about, and it's published on the board and I'll show you in a second. Earlier we were talking about the verification process of releasing rental cars to customers. Do you remember that? Yes. And I asked you, is it possible for some, do you recall me asking?
Say again?
Repeating questions. Your Honor, I'm providing context, orienting him.
I'll overrule the objection at this point in time, but get to it.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay.
Do you recall me asking you about whether an individual could just simply come into the Hertz Gold Club area and leave with the vehicle without providing identification at the gate? Do you recall that question?
Yes.
I want to circle back to that line of questioning. Have you ever personally allowed someone to rent a vehicle using another person's driver's license?
Overrule, sir.
You got the question?
Okay.
I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it for you. Have you personally ever allowed someone to rent a vehicle using someone else's driver's license?
No.
Okay. And another question, does the type of vehicle that a customer leaves with through the exit gate have to match the car that's documented on the Gold Club member's profile as rented by that customer?
All right. This question, I would not be able to answer because, like I said earlier, I never work at the exit gate.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Understood. Okay. I'm going to turn your attention to the board that is to the left of you. And it's a smart screen. And here, I'll show you. Be careful. I don't want you to roll off.
All right.
Yes, sir. There's a little area here where if you mark on the screen, it'll show up. All right. And it should work from there. Okay. So I'm now showing you what has been already admitted as States Exhibit 332 Yankee. And I would like to inquire about that. Is there a rental record, and you can look to the screen to your left, is there a rental record number associated with States 332 Yankee?
Let's see. Yes.
Okay. What is that rental record number that appears on States 332 Yankee that's on the board and in front of you as a hard copy?
It says 103.
Okay, can you speak up and use your big voice?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be 103-976-202.
Okay. And is there a renter associated with this particular rental record as?
If you are here on Saturdays, you know that me and Dave are doing the Jody Aries trial. Now, there, they had also the rental car testimony. The difference between the two testimonies and the time it took in the Jody Aries trial is because Jody Aries tried to use the rental car as a sort of alibi in order to avoid being caught, which meant the prosecution had to prove that not only did she rent the car in while almost attempting to disguise herself by coloring her hair, and avoid taking her own car just in case she was recognized at Travis Alexander's place. So here it's the only reason why that testimony is about this is Jeffrey Williams rented 2 cars. That's it. That's the sole reason. Now, the allegation from the prosecution is that one of these cars were used in the drive-by, as in the Infinity. Problem that has arisen, arousal, whatever, is that neither the Stingray, the Infinity, or the Pontiac, for that matter, is seen at the crime scene.
Shown on the screen and on the hard copy of the document in front of you.
Yeah, I see a name over there.
Okay. What is the name that you see appearing on that exhibit?
I see Jeffrey Williams.
Okay. Do you see on that same screen that you're looking at now a vehicle that was in fact rented to Mr. Williams?
I see a vehicle here.
Okay. What is the name? What is the information next?
Yes. Car rental places rents out quite a huge number of different cars. For instance, when I'm going to the United States in August, I will have a rental car, which will take me from Houston to New Orleans to Atlanta to Knoxville to Delphi up to Michigan. My choice is, of course, a reasonable car, a Ford Focus, but if I add on a huge chunk of money, I could actually rent a Dodge Challenger. Well, I can't say I'm not tempted, but that's a huge amount of money spending on just a rental car. I mean, so that will not happen. I will use the Ford Focus, but it's so tempting. I mean, how often do you get to drive a Dodge Challenger across the United States? Probably never. Now, if my channel keep growing and starts generating a decent amount of revenue, that may be next year, but not this year. How am I going to fit in a Ford Focus? It's a European car. I've driven Ford before, so I'm quite sure I would. You have to get at least a midsize. Isn't Ford Focus a midsize? Hold on. Let's see here. I will just pick a random. Here's Hertz. Let's just pick a random. Let's see here. Pick up Houston. That's George Bush. Detroit. I think that's the one. Pickup date, August. Oh, you can. Oh, wait a minute. Here, you can follow along. While we check, I mean, we will catch up on the other thing there. If I were to rent August 7, I think I land around 2. Let's say pickup 3:30. Drop off date is the 24th. I'm quite sure I leave early in the morning, so say 6 a.m. Choose a car. Oh, I thought I mean, I can fit in it. That's not unusual, but that is, I mean, I get a better price than this. I think I paid just around $1,000. Medium sedan. Oh, this is a really Oh, that's per week. No. Let's check another site. August 7. Jesus Christ. August 7 to August 24th. Car type, medium. No, not same drop-off, different drop-off. Yeah, maybe it would be better. Yeah, it would be more comfortable. Now, we were discussing car type. I can rent luxury. And there I have Audis. Why are they only showing? Yeah, Chrysler 300, but that's twice the price. This is the Infiniti 2024, but why does it only say Chrysler? I know the one I'm going to use is does have Dodge Challenger. Okay, I hear you, folks. I hear you, folks. Just top gear it and buy a cheap used car and sell it or donate it after you're done. I mean, here's the... If I do that, cheap used car, and it breaks down, then then I have to pitch out, because I'm traveling across the United States, south to north. I can't... If I rent one out and it breaks down, they will hand me a new one. That's the difference. Yeah. And what if the AC breaks down in Houston, Atlanta, August heat? Yeah. We don't want you to torture yourself right here in the States. Well, I will consider it. I will see with the rental car agreement if I can upgrade. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Thank you. I'm used to driving around in my Saab. Gonna feel like Mr. Bean's cars. Well, a Mini Cooper is surprisingly large in the inside of a car. It's larger on the inside than expected, just like Fannie Willis. Let's continue.
To the word vehicle on that document.
It says that 2014 CORV Stingray.
And what do you know CORV to pertain to in terms of vehicles?
Well, if you ask me, looking at it, it may be the short form of a Corvette, but I'm not too sure.
What is the license associated with that particular vehicle?
Please, because this is an abbreviation, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the license or tag number associated with that vehicle?
It says GACCK 1725.
Okay. Based on this record, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as you scroll down, Ms. Knight, what date that vehicle was in fact rented by Mr. Williams from the Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport Hertz rental car? Yep, all the way down, Ms. Knight, right there.
Let's see.
Okay, does that work for you better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the date is 010215.
Okay, and what time does that rental, what time is associated with that rental?
It says 9:08 p.m.
Okay, and what is the rental location that is contained on this exhibit as you see before you today?
It says Atlanta Hartsfield International.
Okay, and what is the specified time that he has to return this vehicle based on the record that is before you right now?
Return time is 010915.
And what time period, well, a time of day or night would he have had to return it?
It says 9:13 p.m.
All right, just a brief moment. If we can scroll back to the top, well, yes, if we can scroll back to the top. All right, if you're pausing and zoom out just briefly, Ms. Knight. Thank you kindly. What is the rental rate associated with this particular rental of a 2014 Corvette Stingray?
It says $212 per week.
Okay.
Sorry, $208.72 per week.
Okay. Are there any upgrades associated with this vehicle according to this record?
It says vehicle upgrade, $200 per day.
Okay. And is there a charge that you can see based on this record that relates to underage charge?
Yeah, it says underage charge, $20 per day.
Okay. All right. And finally, if we can scroll to the page number 2, Ms. Knight, of this particular record, and scrolling down to the bottom, right there. Do you see a reservation ID number associated with this particular rental?
Yeah, I see one here.
Okay. And for the jury, can you call out what you see and know that reservation number to be?
It says 4408.
Okay. And so above the prepared by line, there is a res ID. Do you see that?
Yes.
What is the number beside res ID?
It says G43822212318.
Okay. And can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury if you had an employee identification number while you worked at Hertz?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Did you have an employee identification number when you worked for Hertz?
Yes, but everybody has one.
Okay. And do you recognize the 4408 number associated with this rental record under the res ID?
Yeah, that was one of the user IDs that I had.
Okay. All right. All right. Yes, sir. Would you have been the only person with that employee identification number at that time?
Well, if you see at that time, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I am now going to turn your attention to State's Exhibit 334, Yankee, which has been admitted into evidence. And again, you can either look to the screen or use the hard document in front of you. What rental record number is associated with this particular rental?
It says 105939735.
Okay. And is there a renter associated with this rental record?
It has Jeffrey Williams.
Okay. And what kind of vehicle did Jeffrey Williams rent with this rental record?
2014 Q50.
Okay. And as it stands for this particular rental record, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what license plate is associated with this vehicle?
The license plate says FLS322 US.
Is FL an abbreviation for something?
I don't know for sure.
Okay. All right. I am going to inquire about if we can slide down. Do you see that there's a rental rate associated with this vehicle, with this particular rental?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Did Mr. Williams have a rental rate for this vehicle, a Q50 2014?
Yes.
What was the rental rate that Mr. Williams had to pay for the Q50 2014?
It says $366.95 per week.
Okay. What is the date and time? If we can, well, before we get there, do you see an underage charge associated with this rental that Mr. Williams made?
Yes, there's a $20 per day fee. Yeah.
What was the total amount associated with that fee?
$100.
Okay. And scrolling, what is the total estimated charge associated with this rental for the Q50 2014 vehicle that he rented?
It is $1,466.95.
Right. Ms. Knight, if we scroll down just a little bit further. Yes. No, on the same first page, but just a little lower. All right. Yes. And zoom in on that bottom box. Thank you very much. Okay. And just a little bit more if we can. Right there. Thank you very much. Okay. Mr. Alivor, looking at where you are now being oriented on this exhibit, can you see on this exhibit the rental location associated with this rental that Mr. Williams transacted?
Yes, I can see.
What is the rental location associated with this Q50 2014 vehicle he rented?
It says Atlanta Hasfield International.
Okay. All right. And what was the rental? What is the rental time, date and time associated with this rental that Mr. Williams made for the Q50 2014?
It says 010715.
Okay. Sure.
8:34 p.m.
Okay. And what was the time that he was supposed to, based on this rental agreement, return the vehicle by associated with this page? Do you see one, a date and time?
The return time is 011215 at 8:30 p.m.
Okay. All right. I want to go a little further onto the second page, if you will. All right. All the way down to the bottom. Do you see a reservation ID associated with this rental of the 2014 Corvette, 2014 Q50 that Mr. Williams made on January 7, 2015?
Yes.
What is the reservation ID that you see here on State's Exhibit 334 Yankee?
Okay, excuse me. You said reservation ID?
Yes. Do you see the reservation ID?
Yes.
Okay. What is the reservation ID that you see showing on this rental for that vehicle by Mr. Williams?
It says G44305812F4.
Okay. And do you see the employee identification number that you utilized on this rental record?
I have 4408.
And is that your employee identification number?
Yes, please.
And do you see a print date for this particular rental record associated, listed on this same document?
I'm sorry, what's the question again?
I'll ask again. Let me ask a better question. Do you see a print date for this rental record on that page of this document?
Yes, please.
What is the date that you see associated with that print date?
010715.
Is that January 7, 2015?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. I want to turn your attention to the last page of this document, the very last page. And I want to go all the way to the bottom of the last page. All right. Do you see a signature associated with this rental record?
Yes, please.
All right. And are signatures required for each rental record to be complete?
Well, as in a document, if the signature thing is there for you to sign, you got to sign.
So let me ask a better question. are customers required to sign the rental record prior to leaving with the rental with the vehicle that they have rented?
Yeah.
I'm sustaining objection.
All right. Mr. Alivor, I want to turn your attention back to Exhibit 332 and go to the last page as well. In just a brief moment while Ms. Knight cues that up. 332. Yankee. And while that's being pulled up, I'll show you the hard copy. All right, okay, it's actually on the screen already. Mr. Alivor, do you see a signature associated with the exhibit that has been admitted as states?
Okay, in the chat we are discussing right now, if I upgrade from a Ford Focus, how much more do I have to pay? And it's between 400 and 1,200 more if I want to get a bigger car. So no, I will not rent an RV. Yes, I know, Eric. I'm supposed to use a VPN, but I already booked the car way in advance. If I'm lucky, when I get there, I might. Oh, do you have a bigger car? I don't know. But if I will check into it, but it's still something I really don't have in my budget because I still need to pay for gas, and I need to rent a motel room for 2 nights out of the nights I'm traveling because I have somewhere to sleep on other thingies. And sleeping outside is not really my thing. So, but I mean, if I may be a bit grifty, if all the people who watch this stream right now and in the recap gives $2 each, that would amount to on this stream alone about $100, because somehow this is an unusual time for me to stream, so not very many of you are here. Either that or YouTube is shadow banning me of some sort. When I stream out of my normal hours, I get so much worse numbers, but usually I will get that back in replay crew. And RV is not a bad idea per se, but my folks have one, and they drive from Sweden to Portugal each winter and stay there, which is amazing for them. But I also know when something breaks, it's a shit ton of money to repair. And if I rent one, yeah, I don't have to maybe pay. But then I'm stuck for a day until I get a new RV. I don't have that time in my planning. I need to get from Detroit up to Michigan before my plane back arrives, and I've been planning for 3 to 4 days in Michigan because I also want to go over to Wisconsin to meet up with the Anderson family. So yeah, but thank you for all the suggestions. Thank you.
332 Yankee on the final page.
Yes, please.
Excuse me.
Okay. All right. I'm going to transition and ask you a few other questions. Have you ever had to meet with law enforcement at the Hertz rental car location of the Atlanta airport?
All right.
I stand the questions to form.
Okay.
Can you rephrase?
Do you recall meeting with law enforcement at the Hertz rental car location at the Atlanta airport on August the 3rd, 2016?
Well, I had a series of we call it meetings with people coming there, but they were mostly from the Hertz security department.
Okay. Do you recall telling Deputy District Attorney Mike Sprinkle on that same day
that you have been employed with Hertz since 2000?
Jesus Christ, this is boring. Let's start to skip ahead more. To a sidebar. This gets us to sidebar count, sidebar 198. Sidebar counter 198. We are moving in on 200, folks. 200. We are moving in. Just like Nathan Wade in Fanny's. Let's not. Yeah. Let's just move on today because nothing more. Really nothing more happens here.
Thank you.
To try 86. And Mr. Alovar is off the stand. Now it's time for his manager.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. All right, thank you, Sergeant Ingram.
I wish
All
I
right,
had
ladies and
more
gentlemen, jury, good morning.
interesting
All right,
things to
without
show
further ado. All right, state, call your next witness.
This is
Good morning, Your Honor. At this time, the state calls to the stand Mr. Ira Singleton.
All right, summon Mr. Singleton, please. Mr. Singleton, good morning, sir. Sir, if you would please approach the witness stand. Once you get there, if you'd be so kind and turn and face Sergeant Ingram, be sworn as a witness before you sit down.
This is a tall dude.
Raise your hand. So I think that's what we're going to do.
Despite
Ira
seen it.
Singleton, IRASINGLETON.
Good morning, Mr. Singleton.
Morning. I'm sorry?
Where are you from?
Originally South Carolina.
Okay. And you currently live in the Metro Atlanta
Hanging
area?
1.2
Who
height.
moved to the Metro Atlanta area?
Back in 2003.
And have you resided here for the major portion of your time since relocating?
Yes.
Okay. And what is your educational background?
I attended Coastal Carolina University. Graduated in '94 with a business degree.
Okay. And where's Coastal Carolina University?
Conway, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina area.
Can you hear me, Michael?
Yes.
Okay. All right. What do you do for work?
Currently,
Yes, sir.
district manager for Town Park.
And have you always worked for Town Park?
No,
What did you do before that?
I was with Hertz Rent Car.
And how long did you work with? Well, let me ask you this: how long have you worked in the capacity with Town Park?
Started with them, I think, in 22.
To the present?
Yes.
And when you were with Hertz, how long had you worked with Hertz?
From October '94 until I think it was June or July 21.
And what kind of work did you do at Hertz?
So when I left Hertz, I was the general manager at the Atlanta Hartsfield Airport.
And what was your first role when you arrived to Hertz?
First role?
Yes, sir.
I started out at Hertz in Myrtle Beach as a kind of sales agent. So I rented cars. I did that for a couple of months.
Okay. And you said you did that for a couple of months. Did something change after a couple of months?
I was promoted.
Okay.
So yeah, I kind of moved up through the ranks.
Okay.
Became a manager, and that's how my career started.
All right. And how long did you work at the Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport location of Hertz Rental Car?
So I transferred here in 2003. And then I was promoted again and transferred to work the Alabama market.
Okay.
That would have been 2009. And then I returned to Atlanta in another capacity back in 2000, I want to say 14.
Okay. And how many years total did you work for Hertz?
About 26 and a half years.
Okay. What were your duties and responsibilities in your capacity as the general manager at the Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Hertz Rental Car Airport? Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson location of Hertz Rental Car.
Basically, the P&Ls,
Filling up coffee.
overall
Here I
service, sales, and just growth of the business.
Okay. When you say P&R, what is that?
P&L?
P&L, excuse me.
Oh, just your income statement, profit and losses.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. As a part of your duties, would you also oversee the day-to-day business of the business?
Absolutely, yes.
Did that include supervising other employees?
Yes.
Okay. About how many employees would you have under your supervision in 2015, say?
I would say it was over 400, close to 500.
And as a part of your capacity as the general manager, would you oversee them directly, or was there someone beneath you to directly supervise them?
So as a general manager, I had 2 assistant GMs.
Okay.
And under them, you had different levels of managers. So it was a total of 30 managers, I think, somewhere around that number.
And when you say 30, is it correct? Is it fair or correct to say that those 30 managers worked underneath the 2 assistant
If
general
the
managers?
car
Correct?
doesn't fit,
And
you
Now you're talking 15 or you're talking now?
oh, in 2015.
Oh, 2015, I was in a different capacity. I was, I don't remember what the title was, but it was like director of operations.
Okay.
So yeah. So I reported to the general manager then.
I see.
Yeah. And so those managers, yeah, they were the level under me.
Okay. All right. And as a part of your role and responsibilities as the director of operations, well, let me ask you this: how long do you remember serving in that capacity?
That would have been when I returned from Alabama until I want to say 2019, maybe late 18.
Okay. Do job titles at Hertz change frequently, to your knowledge?
Of course.
Okay. Why is that?
Anytime there's leadership change, the new leader, depending on where they come from, what their background is, they would change titles. At one point, I was a city operations manager, then I became a director of this, a director of that. So yeah, it always changed.
And in those changes of the job titles that you described, were there just name changes, or did your duties change as a part of those job titles?
Just name change.
Okay. So is it fair to say that your duties and responsibilities as the director of operations were the same as when you were general manager?
No.
Okay. What difference did you have in duties as director of operations versus when you were the general manager?
So general manager, you're like the head of everything.
Okay.
And as a general manager, you have directors that report up to you.
And as director of operations, what distinction did you have as what distinction between director of operations? What were your duties and responsibilities as that?
Basically similar to the general manager, because everything was aligned with your KPIs, right? Whatever the key points of interest are, that's what you're responsible for. So with operations, you have what we call the front of the house business, and then you have the back of the house. The front of the house would be anything dealing customer facing. Back of the house would be anything that's dealing with cleaning cars or servicing vehicles, maintenance side of it, this maintenance side of the business, all of that would be what we call back of the house.
Okay. You say KPIs. Do you know what kind of things you would be focusing on as a KPI? Key points of interest?
Of course, sales,
okay.
Service levels, growth. Those are the main ones.
Okay. All right. What does it mean to be a gold member or gold customer at Hertz?
So gold is a service that anyone can sign up for. If you're someone who rent often, it's an expedited service, whereas a regular customer will have to come in and rent by qualifying at the counter with a driver's license and a credit card. As a gold member, you would come in, select the car, and then once you get to the exit, they would verify who you are and you would leave. So it was kind of like an expedited service.
Okay. All right. And if you're not a gold member, then is there a name or a designation for someone who's not a gold customer?
Just regular customer.
Okay.
Yeah. We had like several tiers.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is a walk-up renter, if you will?
So a walk-up renter would be someone, let's say anyone in this room now who wanted to rent a car.
The previous
You could just
witness the
basically
same
go to
thing.
Hertz
The
Ages
difference
wherever
between a
and just
walk-in
walk up
renter and a
and,
gold
rent
renter
a car.
and
Okay. Is there a different
This
location
is
for, say, if
so
I were a gold member that I would go to
insanely
at Hertz than opposed if I wasn't a gold member to pick up my vehicle?
Yes.
Where is that location?
At the airport?
Yes, it's at the Atlanta airport.
So on the third level, if let's say you were flying in as a inbound flight, you were coming in, you caught the SkyTrain to the rental car center. You would take the escalators down to level 3. And at level 3, you'll find the main Hertz counter. That's where all the regular renters would be processed. When you go through the double doors and you cross the bridge, that area, what we call that VIP booth, it's a booth separate from the main counter. That's where your different tiers of gold would be serviced.
Okay. And I want to talk about what you mentioned earlier in portion to circle back to what you said about the process. So with respect to the...
I forgot to tell you. Apparently, folks, I'm a huge racist. Did you know that? Because apparently me being of this complexion and covering this trial makes me a racist. I was told yesterday via Twitter DM. Then it was deleted when, well, so I wish I could show you. It was so hilarious. I asked the person, how about you show up in my feed and say this? Because in the YouTubes, I can check age and demographics and stuff like that. My coverage of this trial and when I cover the Fannie Willis thing is roughly 60 to 70% female. And of that, apparently, for the people who actually write in ethnicity and stuff like that, half are black. So between 30 and 40% of my audience are black women. None of them have ever called me a racist on a stream for over a year of covering this trial. But this dude, yes, it was a dude, said something of the sort. I'm imagining his voice being a bit high pitched, like castrated pitch. You're a racist. You can do this. You can talk about this. But I invited the dude, and then he deleted and blocked. And all right, but you, dude, who did contact me about that, if you're watching this, make yourselves known in the chat. Use your real name. Be a man. I had so much fun. And I mean, yeah. Dave's wife wants to know why I'm not in bed. Here's the thing. Today, or yesterday my time, was Sweden's National Day. I've been busy all day. So when I came home around 7 p.m. my time, I went to sleep. And then I woke up just about right after midnight and couldn't get back to sleep. So I decided, well, I might as well stream. Yep, that's it. Sylvia says, tell them to keep scrolling. We don't do negativity over here. No, we don't. I'm just stating facts. I mean, when I say that Fannie Willis is a hoe, she's a bad hoe because she has to pay to get Nathan Wade to sleep with her. And as you remember, I might have actual footage of their trip to Barbados, Aruba, whatever it was. Yes, it's 2:13 a.m. in Sweden at the moment. I should be in bed, but I'm not because I slept in the early evening. Benjamin Gray is here. Hey, what I'm considered more racist because I still feel uncomfortable about my feelings servicing a black family while 16. I didn't want to inadvertently offend them from growing up in a white area. That's a good statement. That's a good statement. That makes Nathan the gigolo. Yeah, it does. I might have an update on the Fannie Willis Nathan Wade saga later on, but it's getting kind of boring because apparently people of Atlanta wants to have her as their district attorney, and they want to waste tens of millions of taxpayers' money doing it. Spiritual War Exposed says, I'm black and from Atlanta, and I don't get racist at all. Thank you. I mean, when I say something that might be construed as racist, I often comment on it because look at this. If I say something racist, probably by accident. And I'm sure you guys will tell me, hey, that's a bit naughty. Because you don't hold back when I say something stupid. You really don't. You call me out on it, and that is why I love my chat. But let's get back to the trial. I just wanted to insert that in this, that for the first time in over a year of covering the Young Thug trial, apparently, according to one dude who portrays himself as a black man, called me racist.
Process of renting. Can you describe how a Gold Club member would know which vehicle was assigned to them if they just walk up to this counter?
Are we talking now or
in 2015? My questions are centered for 2015.
Yes, because it's totally different ballgame now.
Okay.
Everything's changed
Yes,
with technology. But back in 15, we had what we call Voltron boards. So similar to so if I booked a reservation as a Gold member and I arrived at Hertz, once I get to what we call the Gold area, where the Gold VIP booth is, if you look to the left, there's 5 panels of boards, and it'll look for your name. So your name will be up, and it'll tell you what space number your car is parked in. But everything, and that was the benefit of Gold.
I'm sorry, my sympathy for your loss, Jenny Hughes says, I love you, I can't stand that woman. I'm just finding out about this crazy place, Fulton Bean. 7 years with daughter since husband passed. Again, my deepest sympathy for your situation. I hope you manage. And thank you. Love you too.
Is that you didn't have to go stand in lines. It's just an expedited service, whereas you can come in, you can see Iris Singleton on the board. It'll say stall 535. You go to 535, load your car, and you go to the exit gate, and that's where your rental is processed. And they're really, as a Gold, they would just basically verify with driver's license that you are who you are.
And when you say they, who are you speaking about?
I'm sorry. They would be the exit gate representatives.
Okay. How many gates or locations, or let me ask a better question. Are there checkpoints at Hertz?
What do you mean?
Security checkpoints.
We have exit gates.
Okay.
And the exit gates would be reps. So exit gate reps.
Okay. And before I get into that, I want to circle back to something you said. You indicated there was a Voltron board, correct? So after a person has identified where their vehicle that they've rented is located on that board, would they have to interact with any representatives at that time?
So no, but let's say I'm in space 535. All right. I'm a tall guy and I get there and it's a Toyota Corolla, right? So at that point.
Did you hear that guy? He's a tall gay Toyota Corolla or something. Let's get back a bit.
No, but let's say I'm in space 535. All right. I'm a tall guy and I get there and it's a Toyota Corolla, right? So at that point, for me to switch that Corolla into something that would be more suitable for my size, yeah, I would have to go inside and see someone. Yes.
Okay. How does a Gold Club member initially?
Okay, so this guy is a tall guy, but is he a 6'3" tall guy or a 6'8" tall guy? Because I've been in a Toyota Corolla and I fit in a Toyota Corolla.
Make a reservation if they don't interact with anybody to begin with.
Everything's web-based, so you can go online. You can book a reservation.
My first car was a Volkswagen Gold.
And as a part of that booking process for a Gold Club member, would you have to enter any personal identifiable information on the web?
As a Gold Club member?
Yes, sir.
No, everything's already stored.
Okay. Would you have to provide driver's license on the web and credit card information on the web?
That is Gold, no.
Okay. What point, if at any point, would you provide such details and information for the reservation to be complete?
When you exit.
Okay. All right. And I want to circle back to the overall process as it relates to picking back up the vehicle. So you stated earlier that a vehicle would be in a particular space. When a Gold Club member would go to pick up their vehicle, would the keys already be in the car?
Yes.
Would a rental contract or documentation already be in the car pertaining to that person?
In 2015, yes.
Okay. Okay. Would a so earlier you described, you made mention of the front of the business. Is the front of the business located inside of the airport?
So when I say front of the business, in that term, that means anything customer facing. So anything that involves a customer, that's what I mean by that.
Okay. And as it relates to the process that you described for, well, you kind of touched on as it relates to persons who are not Gold Club members. What does that process look like for a person? You can answer the question.
Repeat your question.
Sure thing. What does the booking process entail for a person who is not a Gold Club member?
Okay, so if I was to go online and book a reservation, I would have to go through the process of selecting a car that I want to drive. And to complete the booking, you would have to put in a driver's license and a credit card as a regular customer.
Okay. And with that card information and driver's license information as a regular Hertz renter at any point during the pickup process be verified?
Absolutely, yes.
When would that particular portion of the verification process occur?
So that would occur at the start of the rental process. So once you approach the counter as an agent, I would introduce myself and then ask you for your driver's license and your credit card.
Okay. Do you know a Mr. Richard Alivor?
Yes.
And would you know what part of the business he would have been working? Where do you know him from?
Hertz.
Okay. And was there ever a time that you all worked together or he worked under you?
Absolutely, yes.
Would you have known where he was working in 2015? Inside of Hertz, that is?
He was, back then, he was a gold agent. So he would work the gold VIP desk. That's where he was most of the time. Now, if he was working overtime, he possibly could be picking up a shift at the main counter. But in 15, Richard was a gold rep.
Okay. And was he under your direct supervision?
In 15, not direct. He had another manager that he reported to, and that manager reported to me.
Okay. Now, I want to go back to what you were describing about vehicles being available for pickup based on what's printed on the board. You recall that part of your testimony?
Yes.
Okay. Can anyone just simply walk up and take a vehicle without having to go through any security checkpoint simply because the keys are in the car and the rental contract is in the car?
That would be called theft.
But could they, based on the security checkpoints you described earlier, just come up and take a car and leave?
I don't know how to answer that one.
Okay.
This is Atlanta. It happened all the time.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. As a part of Hertz security gate that you described at the end,
Okay.
are they supposed to check with a representative before
Absolutely.
clearing that threshold?
Yes. So
Okay.
any customer that rented a car will have to exit the main exits, and it's 5 exits.
Okay.
And at any given time, depending on what day, we would have back in 15, 5 people at each one of the exit gates. There was also a service exit, which only employees were able to exit the service exit.
Okay. Whether I was a gold member or whether I was a regular walk-up Hertz renter,
Yes.
would Hertz always confirm, was it the policy or the procedure of Hertz to confirm that the driver's license identification and the person inside the vehicle were the same prior to leaving through the exit gate? You can answer that question.
Regular customer, gold customer.
Either. Let's start with the gold customer first.
Gold customer, driver's license.
Okay.
Because everything's on file.
Okay.
So as a gold member, currently, my credit card, my driver's license is on file. When I rent a car now as a non-Hertz employee, I have to qualify when I leave the exit gate. So when I get there, now it's different, whereas everything is on your phone and you know where to go. When you pick up your car, you go to the exit, they're going to ask you for your driver's license and they verify your driver's license. They scan the car and they match everything. Back in 15, it was different because everything was a paper contract. And so that paper contract would say Iris Singleton. When I got to the exit as a gold customer, I would present my driver's license. And that's how they would verify that I am who I am and verify that I'm in the right vehicle.
Understood. Mm-hmm. Now, as it related to the process for someone who's not a gold club member, would you, in fact, would the back gate representatives, as you described, use your words, have to verify their identity prior to that vehicle being released through that gate as well?
So back in 15, everything was done on the front end. So the rental process, you approach the counter, I receive the driver's license and your credit card, right? I have to verify that the license and the credit card match, right? So basically, I can't rent a car with Mr. Brown's credit card. So that's what I have to verify. That's procedure. And once that's verified, that's called, basically qualifying whoever's trying to rent a car to rent. Once that's done, then I would take them through the process, meaning we would go through all the questions that you would ask. Once everything was done, we would run the credit card for authorization for whatever the rental charges would be, plus whatever the incidental charge was back during that time. And then you would sign. So we would get a mag signature from you. I would return your driver's license and your credit card. You would go outside. I would tell you where the car's at. You would grab your car, and then you would go to the exit gate, right? One of the 5 customer exits. And then you would also, at that point, have to present your driver's license again.
And would the person operating the vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
have to be the person whose identity shows up on the driver's license and the rental contract?
Yes.
Okay. What is an AAO?
Additional authorized operator.
And how does one become an additional authorized operator?
All right, so let's say we're renting a car. Let's say me and you are traveling together. The way that works is if I'm the primary and I rented the car and I know that Seth Brown is going to be driving the car, then I will have to bring you to the counter and you will have to qualify the same way I did with your driver's license and credit card.
Okay.
And then you would be signed up. You would have to be signed on the rental agreement as an authorized operator. And then there's a fee associated with it as well.
Okay. Do you know what that fee would have been in about 2015?
$7 a day.
Okay. And does when a AAO is in the vehicle with well, let me ask you this question foundation. What is a primary user or primary renter?
Primary is the one who had the reservation and presented the credit card and driver's license to actually rent the car.
Okay. So when a vehicle is going through the exit gate, one of the exit gates that you described, would the AAO also have to show verification of identity, or would that only be something for the primary renter at that time?
Whenever you rent a car to leave in that car, only the primary can drive it out of the exit. So if I sign you up as my AAO, you wouldn't even qualify to leave the exit. The driver has to, the person who rented the car has to leave with the car.
Mr. Singleton, as a part of your duties and responsibilities as a director of operations for Hertz in 2015, would you also have the responsibility to review documents from time to time?
Yes.
And would you also turn over documents to law enforcement if you receive such a request?
So that process was different. Anything dealing with law enforcement or inquiries from local police, that would go through our regional security manager. And anything personal that was needed would have to, be subpoenaed, or, you have to present some type of warrant. Okay.
And pursuant to such warrant, if it is presented properly, would then documents be allowed to be given over to law enforcement?
Yes.
Okay. I want to circle back to something you said earlier. Why do you have to be an AAO, or an authorized user or operator of a vehicle in order to drive it at a later time after it's left the exit gate?
Well, it's actually to protect the renter and the person who's driving the vehicle. So let's say you get pulled over and you're driving a rental car from Hertz, and the officer asks you for your rental agreement or your contract and your driver's license, and it says my name, and then you're Seth Brown. I mean, that could be a problem for you with law enforcement.
Okay. Is it also the case that, does being an authorized operator also have any relevance to insurance purposes?
Yes.
Can you describe what that relevance is?
So if you took coverage from Hertz as the primary, meaning you're the person who rented the car, you're the one who's covered. So let's say you didn't have an authorized user on the car and something happened, then your coverage that you took from Hertz would be null and void. Same thing goes with your personal insurance. If it's someone driving it that's not authorized, then possibly your insurance won't cover the rental car.
Now, when you say coverage, are you referring to insurance?
Yes.
Okay. Is a rental record the same thing as a rental agreement for Hertz purposes?
Yes.
Okay. What is the daily reconciliation of business?
Basically, it's a summary of things that have occurred that day.
And are you familiar with daily reconciliation business? Daily reconciliation of business printouts?
Yes.
Okay. What is a transaction detail for legal inquiries print?
Basically, it details everything that went on with that particular rental.
Okay. And are you familiar or had any?
Yes.
Okay. And does Hertz utilize employee identification numbers?
Yes.
Would every employee have an employee identification number?
Every employee dealing with guests, yes. When you're dealing with the customer, so to log into our rental system, you have to have that 4-digit access number. Yes.
And would you have had an employee identification number?
Yes.
Would Mr. Richard Alivor have had an employee identification number?
Of course.
And as it relates to the rental agreement or rental record, as they are used interchangeably, is that something that Hertz keeps in the ordinary course of business? Is it something that it prepares for rental transactions in the ordinary course of business?
I'm kind of confused with that question. Sorry.
I'll ask it a different way. Does Hertz prepare rental agreements ordinarily for rental transactions?
Yes.
Okay. And are such documents prepared at or near the time of the rental transaction?
During the transaction.
Okay. And as it relates to daily reconciliations of business prints, are those something that are kept in the ordinary course of business for Hertz?
Yes, that's a back office function, though.
Okay.
It's not something that I would have access to at the main counter.
Okay. But as with the last question, last document, is that something made at or near the time that such transactions are being processed through Hertz?
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to make sure I understand your question.
Sure.
But that DRB that you're referring to, daily reconciliation, that's something that's produced. So if your transaction occurred today,
Yes, sir.
that reconciliation is available to me tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as it relates to transaction detail for legal inquiries, are those something that's also kept in the ordinary course of business or prepared, as I said, with the prior 2 documents? Okay. And are those typically made at or near the time that the such transaction or inquiry is made by Hertz?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And would you recognize those type of documents, that being a rental agreement, a reconciliation of business, a transaction detail for legal inquiries, and a rental agreement as well?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And for the record, are those yes?
I'm so sorry. Yes.
Okay. I am now showing the defense counsel what has been previously shared in discovery and remarks that states exhibits 35 Yankee, excuse me, let me restate, 333 Yankee, 335 Yankee, and 338 Yankee. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know I'm pretty tall for pretty tall. I'm almost 6'4" and 270 pounds. I mean, a Ford Mustang, it would be fun, but not that enjoyable. But I do know I fit into a Dodge Challenger. That is double of what I pay for the current rental car. Hi, Sylvia. I decided to rent a Ford Focus. And regarding gas prices in the United States, over here currently we are paying just about $2 per liter. A gallon is, what is it now? Liters to gallon. Gallons per liter. Gallons per liters. 1 liters is 3.8. Now, at 1 gallon is 3.8 gallons. And so in comparison, we pay $2 per liter. That is, we are paying currently around $7.50 per gallon of gas in Sweden. Yeah. Okay. Now, here's the thing. In my travel to the United States, I'm trying to save some money because it's grand total, the entire trip, just in airfare, hotel, and gas and stuff. My budget is just over $5,000, and I mean it's a good chunk of change. That I mean, thanks to you guys and some ad revenue, the occasional super chat, and gifted memberships and stuff like that. Yeah, you guys paid for much of it, which without you guys, this trip would never have happened. But ooh, can I do that? Once you get there, just ask for a free upgrade. I do walk with the cane. For you who are completely new here. I can play the sympathy card. Maybe not with this cane, but with the regular cane. Yeah. So I mean, I don't thank you guys often enough for supporting this channel, for making this trip a reality. Because without you, it would never happen. Thank you. Thank you so much. Stand up and twirl. No. Woo. They will give you options for something a bit bigger for the same price. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'm Swedish. We are used to, we go up to the counter and we pay the price and we keep silent. I know you guys over there in the United States, you have a different mentality than we do over here. Yeah, but I will follow your advice, Sylvia. I will get there. I will limp even more than normal. And don't you have a bigger car for me? Oh. Let's get through this testimony. Thank you for the discussion in the chat.
For the record, it states 333 Yankee, 335 Yankee, and 338
Negotiate
Yankee.
in the at
Just ask you
rental
to
counter.
peruse those, and after you've had a chance to look over them, you go back up at me, and then I'll ask you some further questions.
Hi, Benjamin. Yeah, there are at 2 stops. I need a motel room because I mean, once I get to Indiana, I have Mo in the Deep End and Kaiser Pineapple that I can stay at. Knoxville, I have Valhalla Awaits. I already have the hotel booked in Houston, so we have these.
All right.
And I might have somewhere to place my butt in Atlanta. But then you have New Orleans, and then from Atlanta up to Knoxville, I need to take 1 stop as well. So those 2 are the places where I need.
Okay. Have you had adequate time to review states 333 Yankee, 335 Yankee, 338 Yankee?
Yes.
Okay. Starting with states 333 Yankee, what is states 333 Yankee?
It's a. I will assume it's a receipt. This young district attorney who last week had to be told by the judge, ask a proper question. The judge had to tell him who, what, when, where, why. Twice, because this young district attorney couldn't ask a proper question. Aren't Uncivil and Nate in Houston? There are in the area, but I'm spending the entire weekend in Houston, and I found a good rate at a hotel. Adam Tabbitt, free Jeffrey. Yeah. Subs are more expensive in August. Yes, I know.
All right, so this would be DRB information for a rental.
Okay. And
I was skipping ahead because not interesting. And we are getting there, folks. We are getting there. It is sidebar counter 199. is all. There's a lot. Damn, there's people in Houston. I'm going to be in Houston from August 7 to August 11, and then I will drive off to New Orleans on the morning of the 12th or evening of the 11th. I'm not entirely sure yet. I am aiming for Atlanta on the 14th. We need balloons for 200. I'm not sure if there will be another sidebar.
States 338 for Yankees and
Let's check.
Thank you, Your Honor. And state is going to start with states 335, 333 Yankee. And if you just give us a brief indulgence, Mr. Singleton, you will see something populate on the screen to your immediate left.
No, there will be no more sidebar on, at least as I can see, on this trial day.
Yankee.
Yes.
So, which means tomorrow,
I want to
Friday,
this is a smart board. You can touch it and
we might reach sidebar number 200. Can't miss that, folks.
And alternatively, if that doesn't work, I'll give you the wood point.
Now, as I am in Houston on August 7 to 11,
333 Yankee. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what it is that we are looking at here?
I will just have a location where I will be
This is
on the
this is
8th
a
or
relevant
9th or
summary.
10th or something of the sort.
I'm sorry, rental agreement summary.
And people who want to
is this the same thing?
join me.
Yes, it's the
Please
same
join
thing. And
me.
I'll also allow you to know that right behind you, you might not know it is a TV that shows.
Well, I've been told. I've been told there's crazy hot and humid in August. I've been told.
I'll look for permission.
And I don't handle heat well. I mean, I'm Scandinavian. I mean, this is 1,000 years of Scandinavian inbreeding. And I'm tall and I'm fat. Well, I'm a big guy. So yeah, it will be interesting. It will be interesting but the hotel has AC. The rental car will have AC. It's from here, from car to hotel, from up to the convention center and stuff like that. That is the issue. Because I was in Houston in 1996 in April, and that was crazy for me. And April doesn't even hold a candle to Houston in August.
Okay, so as it relates to state's exhibit, yes. And just be careful,
There's a lady right there. All right.
All right, let's skip forward to cross-examination because I am so bored out of my skull with this. Let's skip forward. Oh no. I spotted a sidebar before the cross-examination. That means I haven't had anything prepared for sidebar number 200. I kind of want to prepare something for sidebar number 200. So I'm going to call it quits for today. And then we will catch up with the celebration of sidebar number 200 tomorrow. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Whew. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to. Here's the thing: if I have to suffer, you have to suffer, and this. I mean, 5 hours of testimony about 2 rental cars. It's mind-bogglingly bad. Mind-bogglingly bad. And yeah, but we will reconvene tomorrow for the cross-examination. And I've heard that tomorrow is somebody really interesting who will take the stand. I still don't know exactly who that is. Still don't know exactly, but this is from Thug Daily on Twitter, who says, "Oh, it will be interesting if they get to that guy." But yeah, it is almost 3 a.m., folks, over here. I will try to take a nap before it's time for work. And I will see you all back here tomorrow. Okay? Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to do this. And hug your family. Unless your family is crap, then screw them and give your love to the people who deserve it. Okay? See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.